with the computer. And we will also talk about some of the standard objects, their features, and tomorrow, hopefully, the agenda for the meeting should be concluded by end of the session. And then tomorrow we will talk about flows, and that should be it. We will spend about 2 sessions on flows, and then the course for the admin is completed from my side. And we can take a day's break and start with the development after that. So I'm hoping if we can get to the everything that we're supposed to cover today, and then we will talk about flows, and then that should be it. So everybody able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are dashboards? So in the previous tutorials, in the previous sessions, we talked about reports. Reports were 4 different types: tabular, summary, matrix, join report. But in order, sometimes people don't have the time and they just wanted to have a visual representation of that report. Okay. So in that case, we create something called as dashboards. Dashboards behind the scene is nothing but it's a report. Okay. Dashboards are a way to visually represent the reports you have created. So whatever reports you have created, if you want to visually look at them, it could be in a form of a pie chart, it could be in a form of a funnel chart, just a bar chart, horizontal or vertical. Then you create something called as dashboards. And you can add charts to your reports, but dashboards gives you more options and also has the ability to add up to 20 charts and tables on one page for a quick view of multiple reports. So in order to see your dashboard tab, there are 2 ways of doing it. So first, let me log in. And here, you can see under the Cloud Kicks, we don't have dashboards visible. Okay, so one way is you go over to the setup, and we can also look up from the app launcher as well. We can go to the dashboards and go from here, or otherwise we can go to our app manager. And under the app manager, if you open up your application, which is this one, Cloud Kicks application, and we go ahead and edit this, and in the navigation items, we can add our dashboard. So from here, we will pick up dashboards, and we can move the dashboards to the right-hand side and hit save. Now what will happen is after the reports, the dashboards will also appear. And if you go to the Cloud Kicks, you are going to see, you're going to see not this one. This is our application, and we will go and see the dashboards. Okay, so now in order for very similar to reports, you have the same folder structure, and also depending upon the access to the folder, you will have access to that dashboard. Okay, so the sharing is through the folder itself, just like we have it in the case of reports. Now here, if you want to create a new folder, you can create a new folder, and let's say there is a folder private dashboards, and if you put anything in here, nobody will go to have access to it because it's a private folder. If you want people to see it, you create it under another folder, and you give the access of that folder. So what will happen is you can give it to a particular user, you can give it to a role and the subordinates, the people underneath that role, and also to public groups. So then that way, whatever the dashboards you have created underneath, you will be able to see those. The access you can give is either view access, they'll only be able to see it. Edit, they can make changes to it, add components to it. Manage, it means they can add more users to that folder, so things like that. So that is the difference between view, edit, and manage. Now here, if you order to create a new dashboard, this is how you click on that button, and we will go ahead, and here we'll say demo dashboard. Let's say this is the one, and this is currently in the private folder. You can put a different folder here. You can create a new folder, and we can say Cloud Kicks. And this is your unique name. Hit save. So you'll put it in this folder, and we will go ahead and hit create. Now, this is your dashboard. Now, inside of your dashboard, you can add charts, which is nothing but these are the different options, chart or table. So we're going to go ahead and click on this. And you have to first select a report. And the report should not be a tabular report, right? Because there should be some kind of summary happening on that report in order for you to create a chart for it. If you just go ahead and go click on this all opportunities, there is no option here to select any of these charts because it is a simple all opportunities report. There is no summary happening. Now, if you add any kind of grouping, that's when you'll be able to select these charts. So if I go ahead and click on this chart or table, and let's say we go ahead and click on this summary report that we created. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And it is based on the account type. So we'll go ahead and click on that. Now from here, you can select what type of chart you want. Okay. So this is if you see here, this is basic. If you hover your mouse, it will tell you it's a horizontal bar chart. This is a vertical bar chart. This is a stacked horizontal bar chart. This is a stacked vertical bar chart. So if you hover your mouse, it will tell you this is a line chart. This is a donut chart. This is a metric chart. So these are the different types of chart. And you can also select on the y-axis what you want and on the x-axis what you want. So if you want it opposite, let's say you want uh, something else to be on the y-axis or something else to be on the, you can change it from here. But this is what they have done. So here, this is your vertical chart here. And you can see on the x-axis, you have the type. It tells you that, okay, the account prospect account type is there is only one record. Customer direct, we have 10 records of that type. So this is your vertical bar chart here. And if you wanted shortened display units, you wanted full numbers in the form of hundreds, you can decide on that. We will just keep it as shorter number. So when you have large set of records, let's say instead of 5 or 10, if you have like tens of thousands, you can do it based on, hey, hundreds. You can convert it into these hundreds or thousands form when you have large number of records. Sort by, do you want to sort it by type or by the record count? You can change it from here. And if you want to give any subtitle footer here, you can do that. And widget theme, this is a light theme. If you want to change it to dark, this is your dark theme. If you like it, then we're going to go ahead and add it. So this one, you have created a component. So the whole thing is called a dashboard, and these are the different components. Similarly, you can select the same report and you can create another type of table as well, or a chart as well. So for example, here we're selecting the same report, and instead of this time, we will use something called as a funnel chart. Okay, funnel chart. So it'll tell you that, okay, technology partner is 10, customer channel is this. So this is, it'll give you a picture here. So we'll go ahead and click on edit, add here. And this is your another dashboard you've added. Now, if you want to move it to the right, you can do that also. The same report you can select to put another thing in there. Once you have done it, we will go ahead and save it. If you wanted to save as, means if you want to create another dashboard, you can do it also. We're going to go ahead and click on done. And here, so what happens is if you go ahead and change something on the report and you refresh it, those changes will reflect in the dashboard also. So dashboard at any point in time will reflect what it is in the report, because underneath the dashboard is nothing but a report here. If you wanted to download it, you can download this dashboard as well. You cannot export it. Remember, in the case of reports, you were able to export the reports. Here, you don't have an option to export the report, but what you can do is you can download it, and it will download you as a particular, if you see here, it's going to be a PNG file. Okay, so it can download as a PNG file. Now, if you wanted to subscribe means every daily or weekly or monthly, you want to send an email notification to your people, then you can go ahead and subscribe to that. And you can select the timings, you can select who needs to be there. So you can edit your recipients, you can add whoever you want in the user list. You can go ahead and select that particular users also who are going to be the subscribers. Okay, so that is how you can do that. Now, another important thing about here is, let me go ahead and see. Yeah. The another important thing is the dashboard is owned by, I'm the owner. It is available in this folder, and view dashboard as me, another person, and the dashboard viewer. Now, what is the difference between me, another person, and dashboard viewer? So let's go ahead and talk about it. Before we do that, so what happens is when you select me, that means whatever you have access to according to your access of data. Okay, so let's say if I am the one seeing the dashboard, I will see it as so let's say X person is shown as me, and Y person is seeing the dashboard. So what Y will see is what X has access to. Dashboard readers see data in the dashboard according to your access of data. So this way, if you have more access, you will be able to see, the other person will be able to see according to what you see. For example, if you can only see opportunities in Canada, then dashboard readers only see data about opportunities in Canada. So the dashboard is acting as your access. If you select another person, basically the access that other person has, that's how you are seeing the data. Dashboard readers see data in the dashboard according to the data access level of whoever you specify. So based on whoever you specify, his level of access or her level of access will be what everybody else will be seeing. For example, if you choose someone who can see opportunities from any country, then dashboard viewers see data about opportunities from all countries. So everybody will see based on what you see it. Okay. If you have view all data permission, you can choose any user in your organization to be the running user. And what will happen is everybody will have that whole data to it. Okay. And that is what another person is. So me means everybody is going to see the dashboard as you see it. Another person is everybody will see the data as what another person is seeing it. And dashboard viewer means this is a dynamic dashboard where everybody will see according to their own access of the data. So if you have access to 10 records out of 20, you are going to see only those according that dashboard. If another person has access to 8 out of 10, then the other person is going to only see 8. So they'll give everybody have their own view of dashboard. Dashboard viewers see data as themselves according to their own access to the data. These type of dashboards are called as dynamic dashboard because it is dynamically changing based on the access you have. Your organization can have up to 5 dynamic dashboards for enterprise edition. So depending upon what edition of Salesforce you have 5 for enterprise, 10 for unlimited and performance edition, and 3 for developer edition. You don't have to remember it, but just remember that there are different set of dynamic dashboards you can create based on what level edition you have. Dynamic dashboards are not available in other editions, and if you want to purchase additional ones, you can purchase it as well. Okay, so that is about the dashboards. Now we created few dashboards. Now there might be a question like, when do you use what type of dashboards, right? We have so many different types of dashboard. We have a chart, you have a God chart, metric, table. So in what scenarios will you use these different types of charts? So if you select a chart, like we just did, a horizontal chart or a bar chart or a vertical bar chart, if you wanted to see trends or comparison, like okay, prospect one was 8 records, customer direct was 5 records, that is a chart. Gauge is if you want to show a performance versus a target. Okay, so let's say a particular score you wanted to gauge. Okay, so one particular highlighting a number that okay, this is the range and you are in between that range, that is telling you a gauge chart. Metric is if you just want to represent a key value, one particular value you wanted to show a single key number, that's when you're going to use a matrix chart. Table, simple tabular format, no summary happening. That is a table, just a plain simple table. Lightning table would be enhanced version of table for lightning experience. So if you want to make it more prettier and it also offers highlighting, then that is your lightning table. Funnel is, we just saw it where it had in the form of a funnel, representing stages or progression. So let's say if you wanted to show that, okay, these are the opportunities in this stage, these are the number of opportunities in closed one stage. If you wanted to show that, that is going to be a funnel. Scatter chart is comparing two numeric variables to see relationship or outlier. So let's say the deal size versus the probability, if you wanted to show two values comparison to each other. Line chart showing changes over time, perfect for trends. Okay, this was trending in this particular time, now things are, is it a inclined trend or a down, it's a upward or a downward trend, you can do it via a line chart. Donut or pie chart is showing proportion or distribution. That means it's a circular chart. You'll tell you out of those 20 records, 5 belongs to this category, another 2 represents this category. So that's going to be there. Stacked bar chart is comparing totals while also showing subcategory breakdowns. So that is your pipeline by the owner, stacked by stage revenue. So these are different types of chart, and this is just a overview of what kind of chart to decide on what scenarios. Okay, so usually something's related to gauge chart and metric. Metric is just showing a single key value. Gauge is in between the range. If you want to display something, that's going to be a gauge chart. Now, you understood the difference between me, another person, and the dashboard viewer, which is nothing but a dynamic dashboard. Any questions on this so far, guys? Everybody good? This is a very simple topic, just extension of what we discussed the other day. Okay, great. Now here, same, I was just repeating what we discussed. The three options that we discussed is the me, another person, and the dynamic dashboard, which you run as, what was the other one? Me, another person, and dashboard viewer. Okay, whoever is looking at the dashboard. So the first option is the me, the dashboard always runs as you, the running user you set in properties. So the whoever is the running user that you have set, that is going to be the dashboard running as. Everyone who opens it will see data you can see. So if you have access to more records, then you will be able, that person is going to see more data. Even if they personally don't have access to those records, everyone will see what you have access to. Folder sharing still controls who can open the dashboard at all. So as I mentioned, the access to the dashboard is still through the folder. If he doesn't have access to the folder, he won't have access to the dashboards inside that folder. When to use it? So executive/board dashboards, where you want a single consistent org-wide view. Everybody sees what the executives are seeing it. So this is when you use me option, where you specify that, okay, this is the person with the maximum access, and they can be able to everybody else see what they see. Bonus, it can be scheduled or emailed via subscription because it's not dynamic. So dynamic dashboards, you cannot subscribe, means you cannot send it as emails. The other ones, you can do it. So another person is similar to me, but you pick a different specific user. So if you pick a sales ops service account, or what, viewers will see what the chosen user has access to. This can expose broader data than intended. That is your another person. When to use it? You want a stable company-wide truth source, means run as sales. I mean, if you want to run it as a different user and based on his access of data, that's when you're going to see. You will set it as another person. This is the dashboard viewer is running it as who is looking at it. So each person sees only the records they themselves can see based on their sharing, their field level security. So everybody will see what they only have access to, but there is a limitation on how many dynamic dashboards you can create. And also you cannot schedule or subscribe to the dynamic dashboards. Okay. Whereas the other ones, you can subscribe to them, but this one you cannot subscribe. Okay, so that is the difference between a dynamic dashboard and a regular dashboard. Now, we already saw subscribing to dashboard is to, whenever you want to send a daily email or a weekly email, you do that, receive the refreshed dashboard's result by email. You can subscribe to dashboard yourself. You can add other people and roles, etc. And if you wanted to send a dashboard at the beginning of every week, let's say on a Monday, you can schedule that dashboard and it will send an email with the link to the dashboard and they can see it. Okay, that is the subscribing part. Now, next topic we're going to talk about is some of the important features and important Salesforce standard objects. Okay, so there are mainly four, and there are different features that are associated with them. So there is a lead object, then we have is an account object, then we have is a opportunity cases. These are like the backbone of your Salesforce, and we need to understand the different features that are available. So first is, before I go ahead and start, does anybody have any questions related to dashboards? This is the time to speak up and we can talk about it. Everybody has a thumbs up for me? Awesome. Okay. So first object is let's understand a business, right? We have discussed this early on in the very beginning of our sessions. So anytime you start a business, you have a product or a service you want to sell, right? So you go ahead and market your product either through campaigns, you run some campaigns, you go to the other seminars, you go to the events, and you basically gather what is something called as leads, people who stopped by your stall, they inquired about your product, then you had a pen and paper, or sometimes you'll have a Excel sheet, or where you will ask them for their information, let's say names, their phone number, their email addresses. So those people who have shown the interest in your product is called as a lead. Lead object is used to store information about a person interested in the product or service you are delivering. In business terms, leads are the people who your potential customers are. So from out of those people, let's say you got a list of 100 leads, and out of those 10% of them will convert. So 10 people out of those 100 will most likely to buy your product or your service. So it contains some information about a company and the information of a person working in that company, like hence lead is considered as a business card, like person's business card. Okay. Lead conversion means qualifying a lead for the sales process. So the leads usually gets converted into an account, opportunity, a contact. That is the lead conversion. So once the lead comes into your system, then you are going to talk to the lead, and then finally that lead is going to eventually buy the product or service, and that lead will convert into either an account, contact, or opportunity, or all three. Lead management is a process that allows us to measure and monitor the lead conversion. How many of the leads actually became our customers? Sales representatives will get instant access to the latest prospect and ensure that leads are never dropped. So, moment leads entered into your system, you might have assignment rules set up that, okay, assign the leads based on the region. Sales West region, assign it to this individual, and then they will go ahead and make a phone call to them or email it to them, and they'll try to tell them more about their product and service. And if they're interested, they will buy the product. Okay, so that is your lead object. Now, inside of the lead, the common field and the most important fields we have is the company, name of the company where the lead is affiliated with, what is his position, if you're selling it to and if your product is a B2B product rather than a B2C. Lead status, what in the pipeline, okay, has it been contacted yet, closed, converted, or not converted? These are the different statuses. Lead source means where the lead was captured from. Was it from a web, or did you purchase the lead, did you get it from your partners? So how your lead source was. Now, another important concept here is the web to lead. Okay, so web to lead is, before we go to the web to lead, campaign and leads are related. This is just a information point that campaign and leads are related through a junction object called campaign member. There's a many-to-many relationship here. Campaign history related list describes that in which campaign this particular lead has been added as a member, and also tells the status of that campaign. When we initially create a lead record and add the campaign through a lookup dialog, then it also added to the campaign history. So leads generally come when you run some campaigns, right? And once those campaigns are running, it will generate some leads. And there is a relationship between campaign and leads, and through a junction object, which is the campaign member, okay, that this lead came through this campaign. Now, next concept we have is a web to lead. Web to lead, basically, if let's say you have your own website, right? And it's like having a sign up form. On that website, you added a page to request information about the lead, like his name, his phone number, his email, the company he works for, okay? And you put that form on your website. That basically is a web to lead. So anytime somebody comes to that form and fills up that form, a lead will be created in your system. Okay, that is what is called as web to lead. And similar to web to lead, we also have something called as web to case, where you put a form on your website, and if somebody fills that form, a case will be created in your system. So here, how to set up a web to lead. First of all, we go over to Salesforce and we go to the setup, and we will look here and we will go to web to lead. So this is your web to lead here, and the first thing is you need to enable the web to lead. Okay, so this is how you enable it. And if you want reCAPTCHA verification, you can do that. If you don't want it, you can leave it. If you wanted to send a email notification anytime a lead is created, then you can set up a response template. Also, in order to create a web to lead form, we will click on this button. Now, what fields you want that particular visitor to fill up? Okay, so I'm interested in his first name, last name, email, company. I'm not interested in the city, country, or state. You can select which fields. And here, let's say if you want their phone number, you can select from the list here, and you can move the phone number, let's say on the top, then you have email and you have company. Okay, so you select the fields to include on your web to lead form. And these are the important fields. The more fields you will ask, it will become more difficult for the person to fill up that long form. So only have the required fields or the important fields you want. Now, once the user submits this lead form, where if you want them to go over to a thank you page, you can put the URL of your thank you page here. I don't have a thank you page. I'm just putting google.com. Okay, anytime once they submit it, they will go in and see google.com. If you wanted to include reCAPTCHA, where you see to reduce spamming, you're going to go ahead and enable this. I don't want to include it, so I leave it here. If I enable it, you can, what do you want? You can select from, if you have any key pair setup, you can set up those up. I never did it. Then language is default, or you can put English, and we will click on reCAPTCHA, hit generate, and this is your web to lead form. Okay, so what you do is you copy exactly the whole thing, web to lead, and we'll click on finished. And before we do that, we will go over to Notepad. And inside of our Notepad, I'm going to go ahead and save this, and save. And we will go and we'll call this as web to lead HTML. Okay, so save it as an HTML file, not as a TXT file. Save as a HTML file, and then you can, yes. And what will happen is finished. Okay, so this is your you have created a web to lead form. Now the same code you will give to your developer, and he will create a new page on for your website. And once you double click on it, this is the ugliest form, but you can make it more pretty. You can add some images, make it more bold, things like that. So once you submit it, right now, if you go back to your leads, you see how many leads are there. So if I go to list view, and right now you can see you have total of about 15 items are there. Okay, 15. Now here, let's say we add a first name, we will say Deepti, Hanna, phone number, whatever the phone number you want to give, email, company, and then hit submit. So now what will happen is the google.com showed up because you had instead of a thank you page, you had this form. And if you go here, Deepti will be added onto your Salesforce. So it knows, once you put it on the website, it knows which Salesforce org to connect to. And now you have 16 items. And if you see here, somewhere here, you have Deepti Khanna has been added. And the details have also been populated. So Deepti's name, phone number is this one, email is this, company is this. So this is called as a web to lead form. The process of capturing leads from a website is called as web to lead. It allows organizations to generate a web form. So they will generate a form that which they can add in their company's website, using which people can register themselves as a lead. And what will happen is the entries, once they fill up that form, it will create a lead record within your Salesforce org. And then that lead will go through its stages, and then you will finally convert that lead either to an account, contact, or an opportunity. Now, the first step is we need to, in order to allow the leads to be submitted through the web form, we need to enable the web to lead. Then we need to create a web form. And while generating the form, we can specify the fields we would like to capture. We just saw how to get those fields. And then we will, web to lead form fields like name and email should always be set explicitly because it is important. It asks for the return URL where the page will be redirected, means it's a thank you page. And then Salesforce runs validation rules before creating the records submitted via web to lead, and only creates records that have valid values. So if there is any required field, or if you have any validation in check and that validation rule was never met, then you will not be able to create that lead record. So this is what is called as a web to lead. Basically, you are creating a form on your website, and anytime somebody submits that form, a lead will be created behind in your Salesforce org. So that is what is called as a web to lead. The next one is lead assignment rules. Now, a moment a lead entered into your system, you need to nurture the lead. You can't just have that lead waiting and you not being contacted. So your salespeople will contact that lead, and then you can have some assignment rules set up. What are assignment rules? Basically, let's say you saying that if a lead belongs to a particular region, if he belongs to East region, then this is the sales guy who takes care of the East. If a lead belongs to a West region, then this is the person who's going to take care of that. So you can set up lead assignment rules, and based on where the lead is coming from, you can basically assign those leads to those sales representatives. Salesforce lead assignment rules are used to automatically assign lead records to a particular user or a queue based on different conditions. It can contain many rule entries that determine the assignee of a lead. So who will be assigned the lead? So first important thing is you need to go ahead. Let's say we create this one for Cloud Kicks based upon the region. If he belongs to New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, assign it to one particular user. And if he belongs to West, then he will assign it to another user. So how do we create an assignment rule? We'll go over to the setup. And here, all we need to do is lead assignment. And here you will set up your assignment rules. You do have a standard one, and based upon country, this assignee is this one. So let's say we go ahead and create a new rule, and we will mark one rule should be active at a time. And we'll select this as active, lead assignment based on region or state, I would say, and hit save. And this is your, so you can see here, moment you made this one active, the other became inactive, and we click on it, and we'll select a rule entry. Okay, so new. So if you say sort order, means this is the rule that will be executed first. Okay, and here we can say these are the fields of the lead object. So all the fields now you can do based on a based on the country of the lead. But usually, let's say we pick up state as an option. So here we will say state or province. And if it equals to one of these. Okay, so if you say New York, New Jersey, this one is this, and the user we will assign it to. So you will see the list of users. And let's say we assign it to Ramesh. Okay, So New Jersey, New York, we will assign it to Ramesh. And if you wanted to send an email, you can go ahead and select from this lead, from the standard list of templates that you have. And let's see if you have anything. So we don't currently have. Uh, we'll just leave it here. We won't send any email, and then we will so there's this checkbox, do not reassign owner. So what happens is if you select this do not reassign owner, what will happen is if already there is a owner assigned, okay, um, you will that it will not change the owner based on the lead based on this assignment rule. So it won't override that. Okay, that is if you select this checkbox. If you don't, that means it will override whatever is in the lead assignment is assigning it to. So this is your do not reassign owner. We're going to go ahead and hit save. And this is your first rule that you have created. Assignee does not have permission to view leads. Let's see what else do we have. That is the problem because it's a, um, let's see if this one is, no, this one also might not have it. That's the problem. Let's do one thing. We will go over to users. And let's go to John and let's go to the profile of John. And let's say we go to object settings. Why I'm not able to edit? Yeah, so yeah, I don't have access. So there is a little restriction around it, but let's do one thing. Let's see. Let me go to the assignment rules again. And let's see, we go do it based on the state, new, and here we'll call it as one. State is equals to, we will go ahead and select the state and equals to one of these. And assignment rules, let's say we give it to Deepika. Okay, so instead of, let's go to integration user and see if this works. So if they come from here, it will be given to integration user. Click on new. This is the sort order 2. If this criteria meets, so we'll go ahead and we will go to the state province equals to the second option. Then we will assign it to the Deepika. Okay, so now if either one, then this is there. Hit save. So now you have created a lead assignment rule. You need to have access to the lead for this assignment rule to work. That's why the other users didn't work because they didn't have any lead access. Now going back here, and when a lead gets created, okay, so now if a lead gets created and we create a new lead, so by click on the new, and you name is Mr. let's say Jonathan Smith, company is Platinum Taurus. And here, let's say lead status. Now, if you select the state or province, country, we need to select as United States. States will say if from, now this might not work. The reason is we have it in this form, but let's see New Jersey. And let's see what happens when you have New Jersey. And then you see here assign using active assignment rule. So this will take the assignment rules into perspective. And we will go ahead and click on this one. Let's see if this works because you have it in the full form New Jersey, but let's see if this works. So if you go here, go to the details, and the lead owner is this. Yeah, it didn't change it to the integration user because if you see here, it's New Jersey. So now let's go ahead and go back to the lead assignment rule, and we will actually type in uh, assignment, and here we will go to the we'll do one. Let me go ahead and delete this one. And we will add, this becomes 2, new, 1. And then here we will say state. So we'll go to the lead state here and equals New Jersey. And who do we assign it to? We will assign the owner as the integration user and hit save. So this is your sort order. And now we will go, if it is New Jersey, then integration user. So we go back here, we go to lead, we click on new lead here. And then here we'll call it as Erica Schaffer. Company is Accenture. And then here, you will go ahead and select your country. So we'll select United States. And then here you'll select the state here as New Jersey. And we'll go ahead and hit save. Here we go to the details. You see here the lead owner in this case is Deepika Khanna. Why it hasn't changed? This should be the user, integration user. So anybody has any idea why this is not working? Oh, you know what? I didn't select the checkbox. Let's do one more time. I should have selected this checkbox. And then here, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's see, third time is the charm. So we're going to go ahead and say this. And we will go to the country. We will select United States here. And then here we will select 880 Twin Buttes Drive. We'll select New Jersey. And then here we'll go ahead and hit save. Details. And you can see here the owner has been updated this time to an integration user. So this is your lead assignment. Since we had certain restrictions on the users, because we created off of a standard platform profile, so the access to those objects is not there, so I cannot assign it to the other people. But you can get an idea that based on where he belongs to, based on that, the integration user was your owner. So that is called as a lead assignment rule. Any questions on lead assignment rule, guys? Is everybody clear? Okay. So the next one, as I mentioned, what is this do not reassign owner? Now, basically, if somebody is already the owner, if you have this checkbox checked, the lead reassignment rule will not refire again and won't change the owner. Okay, so if this record already has an owner, don't change it, skip the assignment rule. In other words, if the record matches the rule criteria, Salesforce will keep the current owner and will not reassign it. That is what this checkbox does. Now, the next point is another Salesforce standard object you have is an account object, right? So there are two types of accounts. We have is a person account, and then you have is a business account. Now, as a customer, right, as a business owner, you can have other businesses as your customer. So let's say you are a consulting firm, or let's say you're a consulting firm, like, and then you have another, you work for different companies, right? You do projects for other companies. So the information about that company will be stored under the account object, and who works at that company, like the CEO of the company, the technical architect of that company, you store them under the contacts. Okay, so there are two separate things when we talk about B2B model. Okay, so you can either do a business with another businesses, or you can do business with a customer as well, a single entity. So when you do business as a single entity, let's say, then account and contact become one. So when you enable person accounts, what happens is some of the fields from the account object, some of the fields from the contact object, they get bundled together and become one record. So that is what is called person account when you are doing business not with another business, not with another company, but as an individual. That makes it as a person account. Once you have enabled person accounts, you cannot go back. The account object enables the management of company information for the organization that your organization is involved with. So any companies you are doing business with, that is what is that's what the account information will hold. Account may be considered as business account, B2B, and usually the company records stored within the Salesforce CRM application. Account act as a parent account for other standard objects like contacts, opportunities, and cases. So account is a parent for these objects also. Now, what are the features and capabilities of account object? First is account hierarchy, right? So if you set up a parent account, what happens is you will automatically.
Can I ask a question? I have my hand up.
Sure, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. For personal account, what is always the problem and complexity with personal account versus the other account, right? I think it's the business account, the one that is the big account. What's the challenge with basically enabling personal account? What kind of problem and complication does it create?
So it's not the problems we create, is how we are doing business as. So see, when in the case of person account, you are not dealing with another company. You are basically merging account and contacts together. It's one single record. Whereas in the case of B2B, when you are doing, it depends on how your structure of your business is. If you're selling to another company, you will have a separate placeholder. And the reason we need to do this is because you cannot directly associate a contact to an opportunity. In order for you to create an opportunity, you need to have an account. Okay, you cannot have a direct relationship of contact to an opportunity. So we needed an account. So, but in the case of person account doesn't make sense. So what they did is they merged the account and contact together because they still want an opportunity to be tied to an account. Does it make sense? So you
It
cannot
does.
get.
It's just that I don't understand why when you now set it up, it becomes a mess. I've had that experience. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Especially in healthcare, it's very common when you now deploy a personal account, enable it, it creates a slew of problems. And I'm really trying to understand that logic and the problem with it.
So are you talking about when you have enabled it, you can't go back because you're changing the structure of your business?
Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay,
And another
okay.
important thing is the profile access is another issue, uh, because you will have to set up your profiles. Metadata inconsistency would be there. You're changing the structure. These are certain things you will come across when you are dealing with person accounts, because you're changing the whole structure. Your profile access needs to be correct, that you have given access to account and contact. Um, the account name field is not used by person account, so in that case it will give you errors. So when you're deploying it, these certain things will change when with the person accounts. And you also need to have a record type when you are creating person accounts. So the access to the person, the record type needs to be there. So there are certain things you need to set up in order to enable person accounts. Okay. That is all I can talk about from the person account perspective. Um, and if you want more challenges, I have to figure out, but these are the common problems that come across is the access related to the fields, the record type changes once, and then the access to account and contact needs to be there. And then anytime those fields becomes underscore PC, person contact. So that also changes. Have you come across any problems? Like what kind of problems you're talking about when you worked with person accounts?
It was actually imagine I was trying to basically use it with Marketing Cloud, and it was such a mess trying to figure out exactly that. Do we use a personal account or do you enable a personal account or not?
But that depends on, are you doing business with another company or are you doing business with another
So it
customer?
was doing business with providers, the
Okay.
doctors, and the doctors sometimes they are just one person, right? And they could
Yeah.
also be
Oh, like
a
the
whole hospital.
clinic.
That was the problem.
I see.
So now you now have a situation where does it belong? I don't think Salesforce has a very good provision for that
Yeah.
scenario,
Yeah,
and
where
that's
it
the
could
problem.
be both.
Yes, that's the problem. The hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have, if there was no hybrid, it shouldn't have been complicated. Well, okay, you're merging account and contact together. Makes sense, right? Because the person that is the account person is the same person that is the name, right? But in a typical account, ideally, account is supposed to represent an entity, a
Yeah.
business entity,
Yeah.
right? That's why you have the account. Then you have the contact as the person that is representing the entity. The
Yeah.
person can change, somebody else can come, but the entity is supposed to be something that is enduring forever, right?
Yeah.
Now, and you can only so where it gets a bit complicated for me is understanding the trifecta of okay, opportunity. I know is when they've decided to do business with you. That's opportunity, right? Either winning an opportunity.
Yeah, like like a transaction. That is what an opportunity is.
It's basically a transaction that is about to take place or is taking place. Then you say, okay, you now have that. Now, but even in personal account, you will still have those transactions. The question is now, how do you handle those scenarios? Again, I don't have. It's one of those things that has bothered me for some time, but I just wish there was a way I can get a clear explanation of how to solve for that puzzle. Sorry, I don't want to distract the
So
class, but that's
far,
what is in my mind.
so far, the companies I worked with, they didn't had personal accounts enabled. Majority of the business companies I worked with were other accounts, business to business. But
Okay, even though the person account and the contacts are merged, there will be different records for account and even for person. But the visible in the UI, when you click on the account, it will take you to the contacts. Once person
count is enabled.
you
Yeah.
are looking at the person account. It doesn't mean that it will completely remove the account record, but it will be there. And to connecting with the marketing cloud, contact is what is required. It's got subscribe in marketing cloud. It's the contact ID that will be used, and there will be a field on both. I think on the account record, if you check, there's a each person. It's like a formula field. Once you enable the person account, that will tell you the type of the if you have both business and person account in your org.
Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that feedback.
Okay. So in the case of account hierarchy, we sometimes, if you go to an account object and if you populate the parent account, then the hierarchy would be established. Okay, so here you have is the Bank of America. Let's say the parent account becomes Alphabet. That becomes the parent account. and or we don't have that account actually. So let's pick up something else and then hit save. And then here you will see in account hierarchy, and you can go in and see that, okay, this is the Bank of America is the parent, and sorry, Dickinson is the parent, and then underneath we have is the Bank of America. Then there is a concept of account teams. Okay, so within account, there can be multiple people working on that account, right? There can be a legal person, a financial person, a person who is preparing the documentation. So you can have an option of where multiple people are working on getting that account set up, right? You wanted to have contract signing, things like that. So in order to enable that first, you need to have account teams. So right now, if you go here and if you open up any of these accounts, you don't have something called as account teams. Okay, so there is nothing called as account teams under the related. So then what you do is you go over to the setup and you enable account teams, and all you need to do is you just look for account teams. And under the sales, you see this account teams. And the first thing is you need to enable it. So turn on account teams for your organization. So here, what is account teams, right? Account teams help multiple users to better collaborate on accounts by defining a role for each team member, setting what access they have on opportunity, on cases, things like that. When enabled, the account team feature is available in Salesforce Lightning Classic and the mobile app. Users may prepare a default account teams that, okay, for every account, this is the person who is handling the finances, this is the documentation part. So you can have a team who's working on the account. Now, account team is separate from opportunity team. So the same concept we have in opportunities also. So first is we'll enable the account teams, and we'll click on this checkbox, hit save. And you can say select the page layouts that you should include the account teams related list. So I'm selecting all 4 layouts, and I want the account teams related list to be available on all these, and we'll hit the save button. Now what will happen is you can set up the team roles, and there are certain default roles that are there: account manager, channel manager, executive. If you want to add new roles, you can set up your new roles as well. And this is your assigned roles to opportunity team members and account team members. So now if you go back to an account and you refresh it, there is its related list added called as account teams, and you can create new team members here. For some reason, not sure, there should be a new button here. Oh yes, add team members. It just was a little delay. And then here you can select who is. So you can select we'll get the same error probably, but let's try it. And the role that you have chosen, their account manager, what access they have on the account, read or write, or in the cases on the opportunities, you select that. You select another user here, what role he has, executive sponsor, what access they have. So things like that. So now these are your account team. So these are the 2 people who are working on this account, and they have different roles. Similarly, there is a concept of opportunity team. So if you go to the setups, so the same thing, we will have multiple people are working on closing that opportunity, right? So here we will have something called as opportunity team settings. So first thing is we will enable the team selling, and then multiple people are responsible for closing that opportunity, and multiple people are working on that opportunity. So you'll make it available for all the layouts, hit save. And then the same thing, you will go ahead and go over to an opportunity. There is going to be a related list added called as, if you go here, there is a opportunity team, and you can add your default team or opportunity team members. You can select the role here, the same role that are there for the account. You see it, who is the user, what kind of access they have on the opportunity. So that is what your opportunity team members are. Now coming back, you can account hierarchy we already saw. By associating an account record in the parent account field, a hierarchy of accounts can be established. If you want to view it, we saw how to view it. It will give you who is the parent, who is the child. Account team, this feature enable the granting of access to account records for specific users who work on the same account. The feature can be used by users that are owner of the account record, or users that are above them in the role hierarchy, this feature is disabled by default, and there can only be one account team with multiple roles. Okay, so they can have like multiple people in that account team which have different roles. Account merge. This feature enables up to 3 account records to be merged together in a wizard-style dialog. B2B accounts and business-to-consumer person accounts cannot be merged with each other. So if you have a B2B account, you have a B2C, you cannot merge them together, but you can merge, and merging also happens in the real world. Companies acquire other companies and they merge together. Now, person account, as I mentioned to you, is used in the context of B2C model and provides a very similar set of features and fields to the standard account object. However, person accounts do have certain differences. Person account, basically your account and contact is kind of becomes one record. Some of the fields from account object and contact object are bundled together. Person account stores information about individual people by combining certain account and contact fields into one record. Contact object. So as you know, in the case of B2B, a company is associated with an account, whereas people working in that company is listed as the contacts. Okay. Contacts in Salesforce stores individuals' demographic information like phone numbers, email addresses, linked to accounts, which account that contact is tied to. If a contact is not linked to an account, then it is a private contact and only viewable by the contact owner or Salesforce administrator. One contact basically represents one person, and the field that are important is from where the lead source, who does the contact reports to. Now, campaign and contact are related through the junction object campaign members. Again, it describes that in which campaign this particular contact has been added as a member and also the status for that campaign. So there is a junction object which ties the campaign and contact together. Now, the next one is opportunity. Opportunity basically is the deals in progress. Now, once you have, they are going to buy your product, right? Right now, we're not talking about shoe order. It's a simple product. But if you have like a big deal in SOW, it's going to be tracked by an opportunity. Opportunity record track details about the deals, including which accounts they are for, who the players are, and the amount of potential sales, like how much that it's basically opportunity is nothing but a transaction. If your Salesforce admin has set up leads in your Salesforce org, an opportunity is created when a lead is converted. So when you convert the lead, an opportunity will be created. The opportunity object enables the management of sales information. An opportunity represents a financial transaction. It can be a deal or a pledge between a customer or benefactor and the company or charity. Okay, so it happens between, basically, it's a deal that you're doing with a particular company. If you are a nonprofit, this could be like donations or business enterprises. This could be products and services that you're selling. Opportunity records are processed using a business sales process with a predefined sales stage that typically advance to final stage. And you have already seen basically every opportunity. If you go over to an opportunity record, you see that what stage this is the path that you see. So these are the different stages of that opportunity, and final stages are when the opportunity is won or when the opportunity is lost. That is what your final stages are. And opportunity records can be generated during the lead conversion and also can be manually created by the sales team. So opportunity is nothing but it is a sales transaction. Many opportunities can be created for one account if the customer is interested in different packages or products. So you can create more than one opportunity with a particular account because you might have selling different products, right? Different packages, and other company might be interested in all or some of your packages. For new customer, typically the opportunity is created when the new customer is converted from a lead to an account and contact to. So whenever you're doing a lead conversion, an opportunity also gets created. So we talked about opportunity teams. When you have a lot of people working on a particular opportunity, more than one person is required to negotiate one deal. You can have a sales agent, a technical specialist. In that, you will consider something called as opportunity team. An opportunity team can be used to give special access to several users to a given opportunity, and also to split the credit among the different users who are part of the opportunity team. So in order to close a big deal, you need multiple people, and you can come up with this opportunity team where multiple people are part of that opportunity, and they are working on closing that opportunity. Case object, it is basically if somebody has bought a product or a service of yours, and if they are having an issue with that service, then there is a case gets logged into your system, and a service person, a service agent is going to address that case for you and resolve the case, because cases also is very important, right? If once they have bought the product, you can't forget about the customer, right? If you want repetitive customer, you need to have a process in place to address these issues that are raised by those existing customer. And if you have a good customer service, then only the people are going to come back to you and they're going to buy more stuff from you. So case object enables the management of customer issues, feedbacks, incidents, or questions associated with the products and services that your organization is involved with. It can either be manually created by users, like they made a phone call, they sent an email, and there are various features that support the automation of cases within the Salesforce CRM and are associated with contact routes, records, or account records. So it can either be manually created, and also we have a concept of web to case, email to case, escalation rules associated with these case object. Now let's understand each of them. So web to case is just like we had web to lead, where a form was available on the website, and you go ahead and submit that form, a case will be created. Email to case is nothing but basically you send an email, and anytime that email is being sent to that particular email address, a case gets logged into your system. Auto response rules, basically anytime a case gets created, you want to send a quick received email that, hey, we got your case, we're working on it, and give us a day or two to work on it. Okay, so that is your auto response rules. Case queues, you can create different queues manually, and you can add people to them. So anytime a case gets created, those queues will be assigned to those cases. Assignment rules, only one case assignment rule can be active at any one time, and each rule can contain multiple criteria, up to 25 criteria. And just like we had lead assignment rule, you have case assignment rule, so that depending upon the region, the priority of the cases, the complexity of the cases, you can assign it to different people. Escalation rules, let's say there are high priority cases in your org, and you wanted to escalate those cases, and if they're sitting in your system for more than in open status for more than a day, you can set up some escalation rules where you say that, hey, once this case has been open more than 4 hours, it has to be given to the manager or escalated to somebody else in your team so it can be resolved quickly. So let's talk about web to case. So if I go back to the Salesforce and we go to the setup, and similarly, we had web to lead, we have a concept of web to case. And you can see here, this is web to case here. And first thing is I need to enable it. Okay, so enable web to case here. You will select the case origin as web, and this is your response template. This is your response template. One thing I want to see. Okay. If you wanted to, in your email, if you wanted to specify a signature that is used before this, then you can specify your signature here, and then you go to web to case HTML generator, and what fields you want the user to fill up, the visitor to fill up: the contact name, the email, phone, subject, and description. If you priority, he's not going to do case reason, let's just put that in there. So these are certain fields that you're asking for. And here we'll put google.com as another one. If you wanted to enable reCAPTCHA, we will do it. Otherwise, we'll leave it here. Generate, this is the code you will send to your developer, and we will save it over here, and Control A, Control V, we will go ahead and file, save. And here we will call it as web to case .html, and you will go ahead and do all files, hit save. And here, if you go to cases, and we go to cases here, currently you have how many cases? Let's see. You have 0 open cases. Okay, so then we will go to Web2 case and we will go ahead and submit here. Deepika Khanna, email is this, phone number is this, subject is issue with the shoe order. Didn't receive the right color. Case reason, other, and then hit submit. So now what will happen is it'll go to google.com, and if you come over to open cases, what will happen is a case should get created, and you can see here, for some reason it picked up Girija Khanna. And then if you go here, this is your case, and this is my email, and you can see here all that information. And if you had a particular assignment rule, what will happen is based on where this case came from, or if you wanted to do it based on the origin of the case, you can do that. And if you see here, case origin, since it's a web2 case, it automatically set up the origin as web. Okay. Any questions so far, guys, on this topic? Can I get a thumbs up from everybody before we move on? Okay, excellent. So let's go on. Then we had something called as another one I wanted to show you is the same as the case assignment rules. We had it, the lead assignment rules here. So you'll set up based on either the origin of the case. The same thing we did it earlier. You specify the rule name, cases by, what do you call it? Origin. Hit save, and we'll go click on this one, new, and sort order is 1. And if you go to the case origin and equals, if it is web, we assign it to somebody. We're gonna have the same issues, but let's see. We assign it to the integration user. If it is this one, hit save. Similarly, new, second order is this case origin. If it is equals to phone or email, we will assign it to who will be the assigner. Let's go here and let's see, we assign it to Deepika and hit save. So now this is your assignment rules that you have set up, and this is an active assignment rule, and you can have up to, I believe, 20, how many did they say? 25, I believe. Yeah, 25 criteria can be there. And then here we will go to the case creation, and we'll go to the cases here, and we'll click on new and search contact name, case origin. If I choose web here, let's say, and which product, this one, subject, missed shoe order. I haven't received all of my shoe orders. One of the package is missing. And assignment using active assignment rule. So you have to check this checkbox in order for it to get the assignment rule in perspective. If you want to send notification email to contact, you can do that and then hit the save here. Now, since it is it was a web one, if you go here, you will see it has been assigned to integration user. The case owner is integration user. If you would have created a case which belonged to an origin of phone, it will be assigned to Deepika. So here, if I select the Deepti here, type is mechanical. You can select here, we can say shoelace, not there. Shoelace is missing. something, and then assign using the active. If you don't check this checkbox, the assignment rule will not come into perspective, and you can see the owner is Deepika. So this is your assignment rules. The next one is the email to case. So anytime what happens is you have seen that, hey, you can create a case by calling us. So they will call the customer service, and then the customer service agent will get their details and create a case on their side. And another way is there is always send an email to this address, support@mytutorialrack.com, and it will also create a case. So in order to enable that, you will go to email to case. And here under this feature setting service, you have something called as email to case here, and we'll click on continue. We will enable this option, notify the case owners on new emails. If you want to do that, enable HTML email. Then another important thing is insert thread ID in the email subject. So what happens is anytime you reply to that email, the thread ID would be part of that email, and it, instead of creating the new case, it will basically link that email to that existing case. So not every time a new case will be created. Okay. If you wanted to add the thread in the email body also, you select this checkbox, enable on-demand service. We will go ahead and here, this is what you have to do. Let Salesforce handle incoming emails for you. The email to case on-demand service customer converts the customer emails into cases or adds them to the existing cases. So if you are responding to the same email, it won't create a new case because it has the thread ID taken care. If choose how email to case handles email that surpass your organization daily email processing limits, or from block sender. So if you are going over the limit, what do you want to do? Do you want to discard that message, bounce that message, re-queue the message for another time? You can do any of those. Unauthorized user, we can discard it. Okay, and then we will go ahead and hit save. And now what you'll do is you will set up a routing address. Okay, so we'll go to the new, and here we'll say routing name is support cases. And email address, I'm going to say info@mytutorialrack.com, and save email. If you want to create task as well, you select this checkbox, and it will also say you'll create a task also along with the case. But I don't want to do that. Who should be the owner of the case? You can select the owner. Let's say Deepika. Case priority should be high. Case origin could be, let's say we do email here, and then we're going to go ahead and hit save. So now you have to verify this. So first we will go ahead and verification email has been sent. So we'll go to the Outlook and we will verify our email address here. Okay, verify your email. So this is your email address. I'm going to go ahead and verify it. Okay, and then here, if I go back, continue, this has been verified. And now here you can have like a rule set up into your, that anytime an email comes to this, you can forward it to your mailbox. But now what will happen is if you copy this and if you send an email to this address, okay, shoe order issue, didn't receive the right color for my shoe. Okay, so now I'm sending it to this, but you can have like a rule set up where anytime this email, and you can say it's high importance. Now let's go back. We go to the cases and let's see if an email if the case got created or not. So we go here and you can see shoe order issue. This is the one that got created, 1029, and you can say it tells you didn't receive the right color for my shoe order, and this has my whole email signature and everything. So this is your email to case. Okay. And this is your entire email that you sent. Now, if you respond to this email, a new case will not get created because the thread ID is part of it and it won't create a new case. Any questions on this one, guys?
Yes, Deepika, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so suppose we did like a standard way email to case. Can we customize email to case? Some features can be add in email to case. If yes, then how can we do?
Okay, what kind of features are you talking about?
Any kind of like anything. Mm,
Like when you say customize, like you want to create a case, right?
No, I got a interview question. So if we are using email to case, and can we have like Salesforce provide like a standard way to create email to case and web to email. So can we customize email to case in Salesforce? If yes, then how can we do?
Like you have to do it through Apex class or something if you wanted to do that. But that's basically takes away from the base or the out of the box functionality of email to case. You can customize anything. A lot of times I've seen people who have created another cloud overview within using Apex. They use Apex, but why would you do that? I'm trying to understand, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Email to case.
Yeah, let's say email to case. Yes.
Okay. So here, set up assignment rule, escalation, route emails to your support team, see all to customer inquiry. So here, if we go, this is telling you that, okay, in email, if you send for the service, additionally convert customer email to cases and route them to the right agent or the queue. Okay. We go to continue, and here, what are not through here, you can customize it.
Okay.
Has anybody else know? But I replace users required live with new content only. Okay, let me go ahead and do ask ChatGPT, my best friend, how to customize your email to case. I don't think there is creates a record with email to case. This is what we discussed.
Like if you want like any external I mean any additional text field, so can we
Oh, let's say if you want like
any external text field or auto button checkbox, so can we do?
yes, you can see here, customize the case page layout, make the case record page user-friendly, include case feed for threaded conversation, test the flow. Let's do this. Case feed for add email messages related list. Make the case record page user-friendly for your support team. Let's do this. I have never done this, but let's do this.
Sorry, I got to interview questions. So
No,
that's why.
that's fine. We can, there's no problem in that. So we go to the edit object. Let's see, we go to the page layouts, and let's see, we go to the case layout. But this one is for, yeah.
Not a standard field, like any custom field can we add?
I believe you need to just do it through Apex then. Can I get back to you on this one, Kushbu, tomorrow? Let me write it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, sure.
Customize your case. But before I do that, do I need, what I'm trying to understand is, are you asking for when you send this is just the email, right? You're sending an email to another person, and you probably, one thing you can do is a email handler you can create. Okay, when that particular email comes with this from, then let me think about it. If an email handler, you can read through that email and you can populate your case accordingly. This, something like this, you can do it. And I can show you, there should be, I think I've seen somewhere an email handler where you can set up that. This one I also came across something like that. Route emails to your support team. Set up assignment escalation without response to customize your email experience. Okay.
Okay, save email headers.
Accept email from this case priority here. Set a user queue to override omni-channel flow of fallback queue. No, I think you can create like a handler and let me see. Okay, let's do this. Let's try to do this. One second. I will spend a few more time. A few email handler.
Deepika, the question is to kind of parse it before creating the case. Is that what the question is for other custom fields, content for custom fields?
Is that correct, right, Khushbu? You wanted to parse it before the case is created, right? You want to pass.
Let's say in our system, one custom field like a status, and in email to case status field want to add, so how can we add?
Like you
In
want to
that
populate.
case,
You want to
will have
populate.
to parse it. Yeah, you'll have to parse it before it is created. That's why I think there is something called email services, and you have to tie that with an Apex class to cache that and
here. It's something, but if you want custom logic like parsing,
okay, if not,
you can create Apex with a custom handler class.
Okay.
Something like this. You can see here, create an Apex class, messaging inbound header.
Yeah, Deepika, if you go to email services in the setup,
Okay.
that's way to add it.
Custom code, email services.
Apex class, yeah.
Oh, email services. We can add like new email
service.
Got it.
Yeah, this looks good. Apex classes. This one accept email from. But how does it know that this is the email to case we want to change it?
Attachment.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like
I
this
think for whole system,
all the emails, right? That is
yeah, for whole system, yeah, all the emails. Yeah, it will change.
This might be your answer, Khushbu. It's the email services.
Email services, yes.
So you can create like this handler, set up your class, and you can do that. Good. That was a good question. Everybody learned a new thing.
And what about front end? Like this is the back end, I thought. And if someone change in front end, then how can do?
Like front end in the sense like what?
Like LWC, if they want to change something, if you want like change some additional, add the additional field color, then can we do or not?
That you have to create a new LWC component, capture the fields that you want the user to enter, and then when they hit submit, you basically create a case. But in that case, you don't need email to case. You can do behind the scene a new LWC component, and then you deploy that component, and then whenever somebody submits that, on the hit of save, you create a case record behind the scene.
Yes, and email to service, email services he also answer, I think.
Yeah, email services is the answer for what I believe is what you're looking for.
Yeah, I will cross check.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so now this is another one related to cases is the escalation rules. And here you can go ahead and set up your escalation rules. And there is a standard one. The new one you can do based on cases, based on priority. Active it, hit save. Very simple. You set up a new entry here, sort order 1. If the priority of the case, you select if the case priority is high and equals to high, you insert that and use business hour. We're going to go ahead and hit save here. And then we will do the escalation actions. And we can say if it is, specify the time criteria for the rules. If it is basically 0 and it's been 30 minutes, okay, 0 hours and 30 minutes, you assign it to another user, and then he will take it from there. So that is your escalation rules based on the priority of the case. If you wanted to let them know that, hey, this case has been open for this many minutes, nobody has looked into it, can you take a look at it? So that case will be assigned to that user, and then he will take it from there. So that is your case assignment rules. So the majority of the things we discussed, we had email to case, web to case, assignment rules, escalation rules, etc. The next one is App Exchange. So this one, guys, I cannot download a lot of apps because my account is not set up properly, but App Exchange basically is a Salesforce cloud computing marketplace through which end users can access, download, and install Salesforce app. This is basically similar to a Play Store or an App Store on an Apple phone. And over here, what you do is there are a lot of apps that are available for you. You can download those apps embedded within your Salesforce instance, and then you can make use of it. This will add additional functionalities. A lot of times you can install these apps for your, you need permissions for, especially for production, or because they don't allow everything to be installed if it is available for free. You need permissions from your managers, senior managers, etc. But if there is a simple, there are a lot of free apps that will enhance your related list or your reports, dashboards, or add additional functionality like cloning users. So there are a lot of these free apps that are available. And I cannot demonstrate all of them, but let's say how they look and feel is. So we go to setup, and here you look for App Exchange. And you go to App Exchange Marketplace, and we go to App Exchange here, and you can see there is one app called Clone This User, the recent one I looked at. And I am currently logged in, but for some reason, it's not pulling up the account that I want. So when click on Get It Now, and here I don't see the exact account, but if you see it, you will see all your Salesforce account, and you can install it in production, and that particular would be installed. That app would be installed. You can take a look at the demo, how that works. We'll go ahead and select this, confirm and install. It actually won't work for me because the account wasn't pulled up. So I just wanted to show you how it looks like. So a lot of time, if you, instead of reinventing the wheel, this is my logged in, instead of reinventing the wheel, you can actually use some of these third-party apps and download it. And you can either download it for admins, you can install for all users, or install for specific profiles. So let's say we do it for all users, and we click on install button, and let's see if this gets downloaded. This administrator can look up an existing user to serve as a template for their new user, clone users from the desktop for both classic or even on a Salesforce mobile. These are all the components that came with the package. Component name, clone this user. These are the resources. So you have a lot of these. What are the different objects, Lightning Web Component, or things that came with this? You will get a list of those. And let's just close this. And it's installing and granting. So let's see if this works. Looks like it's going to work. And here you can actually go to App Exchange and see what happens. Clone this user and watch demo. So let's see what this does.
Up that all the way It allows you the ability to simply take an existing user with all of the requirements that you need for a new user and simply clone them one by one. For those of you who are messaging a nice new CTU, it can simply that same experience is created. In my example here, we'll click on my username, when to release. There is a link for both user Classic and Lightning. Just click and go. Easy breezy, my friends. For more information about this release.
Okay. So it clones the user. Let's see if that got installed. And go to install packages. And you can see this one has been installed, description. So now let's go to, I've not worked on this one, so I'm just showing you what it does. Let's do this. Edit page. And here, clone this user, okay? Let's see if this works. It's not deploying it. Okay, I have no idea why this didn't work. So we might have to look at that demo again to see how do we configure this. But you understand, do I need to go ahead and tell you more about App Exchange, or you understood an idea? There might not be much questions. The only question that can come is what you will do in one particular scenario, and you can look at App Exchange as the options for downloading new apps for your Salesforce. The process of installing, I've already told you. So I don't know how this one is not working. I was looking for, let me see what it does.
In 3.3, for those of you who are new to clone this user or to CTU, as we say in the biz, you're in for a real treat. As we all know, when we're trying to create new users in our org, it's kind of cumbersome. You always have to create a new user, get all the permission sets, all the profiles, all the things. And it takes time and takes effort, and it takes you away from the things that are the core responsibilities that all away. For those of you who are returning to CTU, cancel buttons in the console view, resolve. We have better messaging when it's ability to select default receive. Welcome to Salesforce CTU is available in Classic and Lightning and mobile. So lots of ways to access and clone when you're either at the office or on the go. As you can see here, I have set up a component where I can simply look up the user I'm hoping to clone, click, and go. I've also set up for myself a handy dandy utility bar here where I can click on.
Okay, so let's see if we can add a utility bar. So we go here, App Manager, and we go to Cloud Kicks. So if I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but let's just see if this works. Utility items, add utility item, and then here, clone. Okay, so we go here. Okay, so clone this user is there. Search for user. So here you can basically search for Pika. And this one is pretty bad. And then here you provide your name, but it won't work because we don't have the licenses. Email, we'll provide this email, and then we'll do Ramu, Anna. Save and clone again. Yeah, so you don't have the licenses, but this is one App Exchange app that you can download and you can play with it. And there are a lot of free apps which will add a lot of additional functionality to your features that you have. Like there is one called Enhanced List, which will allow filtering of your related list. You can add some filtering in there. For every app, there is a demo, so they'll show you how to install it, how to merge it with your existing page layout or pages, and then you can use it. So that is about App Exchange. This one's one of the ones, related list one. Now let's talk about the life cycle. So this is an important one because if you are working in real world, you need to understand how the whole application life cycle works. So the first phase before I jump, anybody has any questions? I hope I'm not going too fast today. Guys, everybody on the same page? And you guys are not responding to the WhatsApp messages. I'm doing polls every week to understand how am I doing and if there is any improvement needs to be made. But only few people respond to those messages. So I hope this class has been worthwhile for you. You are gaining value out of it. Let me know. Because if you don't give me any feedback, I'm going to continue with my pace and you're not going to get benefit out of it and I won't get, so you have to let me know if I have to make any improvements. Okay? Because we're soon going to start the development classes and the majority of the people are looking for development classes. So please be attentive and also don't miss any sessions. So coming back here, application lifecycle. So anytime a new release is coming, okay, they plan a release. They plan with the requirements that are going to be addressed in the release. Then you are going to design. So we'll sit with the architect teams. We'll see what kind of integrations happening. They will have a release date. They will make the development plan that, okay, these many works of development, then we are going to do integration testing and so forth. Okay, so this is just planning on your release. Next is this stage where the developers are actually going to develop that whole release for you. They're going to, any new features you have added, they will build those features. It could be either just out of the box features, it could be more coding related. So they will go ahead and do that. And then they are going to, then there is going to be a phase where they're going to test it, right? So QA team would be there, quality analyst. So usually in any environment, you're looking at about 4 to 5 people minimum will be required, right? So few of them, one will be a business analyst who's going to gather the requirements. The second person, 2 or 3 will be the developers in the team. There could be one admin, but nowadays admins is basically merging into development. So you have a developer in the team, and then you might have 1 or 2 QA. So minimum of 4 to 5 people would be there in your team, and they will be the one testing it. Okay, so then once you as a developer will be developing in one type of sandbox, which is majority of the time is a developer pro sandbox. There are different types of sandbox, right? Sandbox is where you're actually writing your code, testing your code, and then every company has different sandboxes for different stages. There is a developers work on developer pro sandbox and they will develop their code in that sandbox. And then once they have unit tested means they have tested their feature within the org, they will push it to the next org, which is a QA. Okay. And QA team will be the one they will be the one testing your issue in that particular org. They don't test it in the developer org. They only test it in the QA org. And then once they do they will just test the individual component and things like that. Then it goes to another level of testing, which is others, developers, components, and all that, and also integration testing, how it is interacting with other applications, this new feature. So there's going to be an integration testing that happens on a partial copy sandbox sometimes, or another full copy sandbox. So it depends on how big your organization is, because these sandboxes cost money. And the integration testing, if you have a lot of data, they will test it in those orgs. Okay, once they have done all the testing, they will merge all the changes that are there, and they will create a release file. Okay, then they will put it into another uh, where the users, like the business users, are going to be the one testing it. Okay, so they will create like another org for them, push their changes, and the like usually the stakeholders will be the one testing it. The BA is going to give the demos to the users. So that is the user acceptance testing will happen, and then finally the changes get released to the production. And inside of Salesforce, we have a concept of change sets through which you can deploy your changes from your sandbox to production. Okay, any questions on this life cycle, guys? Do we have Amar on the call?
Yes.
Amar, do you want to add on to, because this is your area of expertise, if you want to add on to it, feel free to do that.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking out. I'm thinking out loud now, right? So probably a great exercise on this one could be, when you join an org as an admin,
Mm-hmm.
and I think when you're assigning profiles, um, on your dev sandbox and on your QA and UAT.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is more like a question and an exercise also. So
Mm-hmm.
as an admin, all the developers get like
Admin access.
system admin, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But for the QA part, now
For the
you don't
QA
want to give,
org, you mean for the QA org?
yeah, like for the QA org, and like the integration. So you might want to like create multiple profiles as per the feature that you're testing, or is there like a guidelines? I think that will be like a great real-time exercise that if people can start thinking, or like you might want to speak on that a little bit, because that's more like a real-time use case, right?
So the
Hands-free
real-time
testing.
use case basically, so in the Developer Pro, and I will have somebody probably um in that session where we are completely free, I'll have another team member from my team. He is going to show you a real deployment, his own websites, sorry, not the website, but his company's page, where he's going to might show you a change, might deploy it using change sets to different from there, and then he'll show you what different orgs looks like, right? So anytime you are logged into a test sandbox, you are logging it using the URL test.salesforce.com. When you're logging into production, your URL would be login.salesforce.com. Okay, but in respect to your question, the Developer Pro use system admins, every developer will be a system admin. But in the QA org, QA might have the same profile of as a business user in order for them to test it. That's how they're going to test it, right? They might not have access. They're going to be mimicking what the business users role would be, or they might be logging in as them and then seeing that particular feature. But what I'm going to do is, after this batch is over for admin, I'm going to have my team member kind of show you how he does deployments, and then they will be able to walk more through, and that'll be much more cleaner, because I don't have any access to the orgs that I can show you. But I will have him show you everything, where he can show that, okay, this is how deployments are done, these are the different orgs, these are different sandboxes, how he pushes code from developer to a production. I might bring him next week, or maybe next to next week, before we start the development. Does that make sense, Amar?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think there's two situations, right? If it's like a completely greenfield implementation and you're creating teams,
Hmm.
versus like you're joining an existing project.
Hmm.
And then, do you create like a profile, or like are you going to like have like one common profile where like a CSR profile or something like a sales manager profile, and then are you going to do those variations on roles? I think it's just that thought process. Um, and like that clarity, right? And that whole process, I think that's more like hands-on use
The
case.
testing would be basically they will be a QA would be logging in, and then they are going to log in as other users in order for them to do the testing.
So how do you even set up like the QA profile? What do you set up the QA profile as?
So the QA will have read access to majority of the objects, and QA would be they won't be system admins, but they will be having access to the application, and they will be very similar to what a business user should have access to.
So that means like you gotta like create a business user profile and then log in as that business user profile.
Yes. And then log in as that user and then do the testing, because the access the other people will have, the QA might have a wider access, but they need to test it as other users.
Okay. Okay, so I thought like, every time you would like alter the QA profile information.
No, that's not how it does. No,
Okay.
no. So you have to think from how the business is going to use the system.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the whole life cycle that happens. And then the releasing fail development is when the actual development happens. Testing is when you are making the QA team is involved. They are going to do different types of testing. Load testing is another very important testing when you're testing your changes with a large set of data, because a developer might just test it with their own unit test, one record or two record. But when you're dealing with multiple set of records, how your system is behaving, you need to do load testing. You need to do integration testing where other systems are being integrated. Okay, so that is another thing. Then final is the release date where you're going to release your changes to the
Sorry, what about smoke testing? Do you have smoke testing there?
smoke testing is smoke testing is usually when they go ahead and push it to the next org, they just do a quick round of testing. That's called smoke testing. They don't go in depth into the testing. It's just quickly checking if their component got deployed, if their changes are deployed. So before they tell the QA, hey, now your user story is in QA, they will just make sure that whatever changes they have made, they'll do a quick round of testing. So that is called a smoke testing. That's not called a full-fledged testing. It's just testing the component is there or not.
Yes.
That is a smoke testing.
I thought smoke testing would be, this is me, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought smoke testing is when maybe you had done some testing before and you are now retesting and you want to confirm if
Yes.
all the other, if the technical integrity is still intact from all the logic that you had built before.
Yes.
Meaning your fix on one side has not created other problems on the other side. Isn't that smoke testing?
Yes, smoke testing is basically a quick preliminary testing, like before to check if the most critical functionalities are working or not. So usually, when you deploy to production on the day of on the night of production, you might not test each and every change, right? Because you can't ask QA to do the same kind of testing in production. So over there, in there they'll do a smoke testing. They'll see if the main thing is working fine or not on that in production. Okay.
Is there any way we can have like information on all the different type of testing? And that's one question. Then secondly, are we going to have a session here that would have, I don't know if it's going to be this stage or when you will get to development, where we will have all those testing kind of showing us how to do testing properly? Just curious.
Testing is something out of the scope. I can
Okay.
show you a developer moving the code from one org to the other and showing you how he does a smoke testing, let's say like a small feature build, and then we can do it, moving it from one org to the other, and probably through change sets he can show you.
Yes.
But testing with different types of like what are the different, that is outside the scope of the course, to be honest with
Got
you,
it.
because
Got it.
that's more of a QA related course.
Both admin and developer, none of them has some details on testing, correct? Correct.
Come again with your
Both
question.
the admin course and the developer course, none of them has some
No,
element of
it
testing.
won't be too depth into develop like testing, like because
Got it.
testing is a QA's job. And what I can, as a developer, you shouldn't be worried about that. You should be worried about your unit testing, which is you testing your own component. And then the other thing is how to deploy from one org to the other. That is another level of deployment is the important part, because as in a real world, you should know that, okay, you built something in one org, in one sandbox, and you have to push it to another sandbox where the QA team will do the testing. And then from there, there is usually a lot of big companies have a separate DevOps team who pushes the
Yes.
merges and all that. But sometimes from dev to QA, you are responsible for pushing that into
So
the
is
next.
that from lower, is that what you call from lower environment to higher environment?
Yes, lower environment is like from developer pro to like a QA sandbox.
To a QA sandbox. And
Yeah.
once it's done with QA sandbox now, it will be ready for production, correct?
No, from QA, a lot of companies have integration sandbox, like where it has like a large amount of data,
Mm-hmm.
and from there they do production. But there can be, every company is different. Some companies
Yes.
have one QA, one test, one developer pro, one QA. No, so this was our company. One developer pro, then there was a test org, then from test it was a QA sandbox, then from QA it was production. So every company is very different, but you will at least have one developer sandbox where
Pro.
developers are going to work, then it can be a QA, and then they can go directly to production. But majority of the companies will have two test sandboxes, one for testing, one for load testing, QA. Then they have UAT as well. There can be a UAT sandbox. So every company is different.
But do you have like a kind of a diagram that depicts what we're talking about, like that
Uh,
shows?
Not right now, but I can come up with that one.
Yes,
Uh,
please. Sorry.
No, that's fine. The more the questions, the better. So
Oh,
let me put it I can show you tomorrow. Developer, then there can be a test one, then there can be a QA, then there can be an integration one, and then finally is going to be production. Okay.
yes. Yes, please.
So first of all, what is a sandbox? This one we will talk tomorrow a little bit, and then we will talk about flows tomorrow. What else is left? Change sets is left. So this one and this one we'll do tomorrow. Okay. And then we'll pick up flows as well. With this, we are on the top of the hour, but with this, do you guys have any feedback, guys? How did you feel this whole course was worth it? Was it good for you? Was it worth your timing and everything? I want a genuine feedback. And if there is something you want me to improve for developer, you let me know.
Yeah, honestly, I'm exceed expectation in terms of the way I think you teach life better. This is my opinion than even your courses online.
Thank
Just
you.
my thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's
Appreciate
coming
that.
from someone that I mean, obviously, so and I'm not totally novice to Salesforce. Like, yes, I could evaluate it based on just my. I know it took me time to give you this live feedback, but I think you are much more. You're basically alive in a live session. I guess you're probably a people's person than when you're just staring at the computer to record, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Your courses obviously attracted people like us into the program, but I think you teach better. I think you
Thank
teach
you.
better with
I appreciate that.
passion.
No, with because see, I wanted to. My agenda is I want you to be valued out of it. And if something I need to change, I will implement it and I will bring it up these changes. And I also want to finish the course on time, because I can take me weeks to finish just the admin, but now we have to start the development also. So I wanted to have like a proper balance of the timings to consider. So I might sometimes feel a little rushed because I want to cover everything because it's vast. Hopefully development, I'll go a little slow because a lot of people here are very new to development. So I will take it a little bit in the beginning, I'll take it slow. And then you also need to build smaller projects along with me. Okay. And if you have not enrolled in developer classes, this is the time to do it, guys. We will be starting probably, I would tell you, it's going to be the week of 25th. So it's just 25th, we are going to be starting the developer.
Same time.
Same time, 10 to 12, same money that you have paid just for developer.
Just put my name down and I'll figure out how to take care of the people.
Okay. The best way is if you go to the website, MyTutorialRack, where is it? And just enroll through the live training. You enroll in the batch and reserve my seat. You pick up your module and you just make the payment. That's pretty much it. And Lightning Web Component, you can do it when we get there. You don't have to do everything up front. Anybody else would like to speak up on the feedback? Was it worth it? any improvements you guys tell me to do it for the next batch?
Like the last person said, I think your live training, and not that your Udemy courses weren't good, it was a lot better.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And yeah, I just learned a whole lot more. I really enjoyed like you talking about the job function of an admin because that I think is more beneficial to me with the information overwhelm of knowing what areas to concentrate on. And on that point, I was going to ask you, can you put together like a document
Mhm.
of these are the 20 top things to know as an admin for your job, just for
Okay.
your basic job? Even someone on here was talking about an interview question. I think that would help also to reinforce a lot of what we learned and to use at our interviews as well.
Okay, so let me get what I have to do for tomorrow. Okay, first is uh interview questions, not interview questions, responsibilities of admin. One was this, like your day-to-day tasks, what it looks like. One is to build flows, activating users, deactivating users,
Mhm.
uh, creating custom profiles. These are the major things. Freezing a user account, creating permission sets, assigning those permission sets, like out of the box things. That is what a responsibility of an admin is. But let me see if I can find more information. Then you wanted a diagram for the different types of testing. I believe that was, no, different types of sandboxes. What else, guys? These are the two things I've listed down for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think if you set it up, Deepika, as a like the functions of an admin as a kind of like a to-do list checkbox type of thing, so that we can cross those off as we go, that would help me a lot. I don't know how
Okay.
everyone else,
Okay, let
but
me see
yeah.
if I can
But
find
thank you.
something on that, functions of admins. Then
Deepika, did we touch on how to do the seasonal updates and what kind of analysis do we need to do?
oh, like you're talking about the releases?
Yeah.
Okay, so that usually, okay, let me ask my team member to take care of that also, because he can show you what is releasing, and then if there is any, not every time we need to do it, but we just need to take into account, is anything being deprecated, we need to change that or not. Okay, so I'll take that seasonal updates. Uh, I might ask tomorrow itself for my guy to do some demo for you, or maybe next week, then, because he'll get some time to prepare. What else, guys?
And I'll be doing the developer class too. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys, so I think we are almost ahead of our time. I'm going to see you tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll talk about chain sets. We will see how the chain sets works, inbound, outbound chain sets. I cannot demo you, but he will be able to demo you. We'll look into, and then we'll start a little bit on flows as well tomorrow. Okay?
Okay. And I think from a sandbox perspective, I've put it in the chat, like the order. So are you going to speak about the sandboxes you said tomorrow, Deepika?
Yeah, a little bit, because we do have like certain slides there.
Okay.
But let me see if my person can join tomorrow and can give an overview tomorrow.
Okay. I think some time back, I remember like one of those in one of those interviews, somebody was asking about scratch arcs, and I think that was like the first time I heard. I was like, I couldn't speak because I think it's a new concept, and I think
New, see, Scratch
it's a
came
new.
in when LWC was brand new, Lightning Web Components. There was a concept of Scratch org. Like if you just quickly create an org, build something and to show somebody. That was the concept of Scratch org.
So are people really using that? Like, or it was just
In the
like,
middle, they used it. Now I don't see it. Like in when those LWC was kind of in the hype and where everybody was using, they were quickly spinning a Scratch org, building a feature and releasing it. So that was the time when they were using it. Now recently, I haven't come across a Scratch org. Not,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I think at least I have not seen like anybody use like none of my developers anytime use scratch arc. So I was like, I don't know. So
No, it was somewhere like a couple years back. It was a big thing, Scratch org, but now I don't think so.
uh,
Okay, so I have responsibilities, diagram, type of sandboxes, seasonal updates, and then let me see if my developer can help you with just giving a glimpse of the real world. Okay, guys, so I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.